The Science Behind the Gang Wars of Whales by Casual Geographic. I did not know that apparently the whales are from the hood. The hood whales? Regardless, we'll go in. Also, if you like this kind of content, please consider liking and subscribing. We'll go in. I did not know that there's gang wars for whales. That is a new one. Well, that was short fun.
Oh my god.
Are you a seal? Are you a seal? These get see the thing is when orcas see you, they're usually like, cause right, they see you above them. They may mistake you for another animal, but they usually don't eat humans. Usually, however, seeing this would definitely have me terrified.
The ocean is the world's oldest hood, so makes sense that the gang wars of the animals in it are titanic. There's Avengers levels of conflict happening under the waves, and in the center of it all is Sea Thanos. The orca's range is everywhere.
Sea Thanos. Sea Thanos is crazy. Are they gonna snap?
Its diet is everything. Their breeding.
Why be so? Wait, are they jerking? Wait, aren't they jerking off the orca here? Are they jerking off the orca? I was be so concerned for my dog.
Season is a day that ends in Y. They hunt whenever and no one ever hunts them. Orcinus orca is really that guy. It's an apex evolutionary attack dolphin, known to give great white sharks PTSD.
Attack dolphin. I mean, yeah.
And scare the literal, no figurative feces out of the biggest predator alive.
Well, maybe it wasn't that smart to free Willy. Get it? Nah.
Get to that. The cetaceous sea panda is an intellectual vibe check with a street.
No! Do not eat it! No! Do not eat the sea puppy!
Name. Killer whale, a name they got after ancient whalers watched what a barcoded armada could do to a barnacle bus stop. With the size, intelligence, and power of friendship, the whale killer might just be nature's favorite, and there's virtually nothing on the ocean census that can't get orked. But all that dominance has a cost. Like an ocean kingpin, orcas have made a lot of enemies, and there's at least two that'll bully them back. It all comes back to the often forgotten rule of nature. A predator has to be convinced you're worth the effort, but prey will turn you into past tense before you go offense. The world of whale beef is messy, with alliances, rivalries, and straight mob mentality.
Are you saying that, like, blue whales or gray whales are, like, beefing with orcas? No way they are, right? There's no way they are.
For every orca, there's a pack of pilot whales. There's
pilot whales. Wait, literally other whales. Like, I would have like understood. I would have understood if it were like other like whale groups of the same species having gang wars, but it's other whales.
What orcas see in their nightmares, allegedly. Let's talk about it. Every dolphin is a whale, but not every whale is a dolphin, and pilot whales are a very big dolphin. They're the second biggest dolphin, only beat by the ocean equalizer.
Okay, so we got 4.5 to 6 meters for a pilot whale, and 7 to 9.7 meters for an orca. Okay, but they are clearly smaller, so what's the big deal?
Pilot whales look like off-brand belugas, and that's pretty close to their personality.
Why does this bro have such a big head bump? Chubby nose.
Pilot whales have been called the Ferraris of the sea, being clocked at over 30 miles per hour while hunting, and they'll use this speed to run up on pods of orcas. That, and the fact that pilots can roll in pods that get to over 100, is why killer whales may have a healthy amount of fear in a deep-fake dolphin. Scientists in Iceland have seen orcas go from socializing to dead silent to suddenly synchronizing a retreat before a group of pilot whales pulled up. In some cases, the orcas were literally run out by the pilots, with both parties porpoising during the chase.
Wait, so these guys literally harass orcas. Interesting. I did not know that.
And we know for a fact, pilot whales actively look for problems, since scientists in Norway played the sounds of orcas feeding, and that got their boat confronted by the pilot pack. It's even
Bro, these are literally gang wars. Actually, never mind. Those are gang wars. Most definitely. Mm-hmm. No doubt about it. That's crazy. Imagine you hear the sound of your op, and the first reaction you have is to seek him out, so you can bump your chubby nose into his side.
Related to pilot whales imitating the calls of killer whales, and considering killer whales and
They are literally imitating, so they are literally can even call them. They can set up traps. That's quite menacing. Sea gang wars. Yeah, pretty much they are sea gang wars.
different areas can have different dialects, pilot whales learn to lampoon the exact kind of orca in their neighborhood. Some say it's a form of ocean incognito.
They are essentially what is it? They're essentially, the sea is not big for us too.
Where they use sound to camouflage. But there's a world where pilots got so sick of the gimmicks they learned a language just to talk that cetacean shit. But it's not one-sided, as orcas will pack up and prey on pilot whales. There's also been more than one case of a group of orcas traveling with an orphan baby pilot whale, adopting it either as progeny or a practice dummy. My theory is that the trauma of losing a baby.
Grieving mother orca whales carries dead baby. Again, Talequa, a mother orca who gained fame in 2018 for carrying her deceased calf on her back, has lost another child. Heartbreaking photos and videos show her again continuing to carry her dead baby. Aww. Aww. Pilots, whales are the hood. The gang and orca is the Nazi. Crazy. Crazy.
He drives a mother orca to do the next best thing, kidnap an infant pilot whale and try to brute force parenthood. It's a conflict that still has a lot of questions, and this
interesting. So they are basically raising a child that isn't theirs and make them hate their own kind. Absolute cinema. Peak.
story might just have another chapter, cause what are the odds the orca's two biggest enemies are friends? Humpbacks prove you can always be a bigger hater, and there's no bigger hater than the one
Humpback whales too. Interesting.
that interferes with orca hunts, even when the target isn't another humpback. In 5 decades of studying humpback orca spats, in only 11% of them did the killer whales actually go after them. The other 89 involved orcas plotting on a completely different animal.
Animals rescued by humpbacks, gray whales, common minke whales, Del hoppers, Stella sea lions, California sea lions, Weddell seals, crab-eater seals, okay, harbor seals, elephant seals, and sunfish. Wait, they are for the job. They are the rescue squad by humpbacks. That's very interesting. Interesting. The police, the sea police, going against the gangs. That's peak revenge. Absolutely. Soon that kid pilot will get his revenge. That is crazy. The sea police trying to rescue them. Crazy.
And the humpbacks getting involved to play defense. In fact, in over 100 encounters, the humpbacks approached the orcas 37% of the time, and the orcas were the instigators 26%. Meaning, when scientists could tell who wanted smoke 58% of the time, the humpback mafia started it. Why? Well, maybe ask the pilot whales. Pilot whales and humpbacks have been seen socializing off Hawaii, with humpbacks even seeming to pet the pilots with their fins. They've even been caught.
Ah, it's cute. It's like little brother. Whale seals looks cuddly. They all look cuddly. That is cute. They're like, it's okay, little bro. It's okay. I'll protect you. You're a homie. You're a friend. We are homies.
Communicating with each other. 2 completely different species. And it's not an accident. About 200 instances of whales and dolphins interacting were recorded across 19 different species, and what was found was that not only were a third of all humpback encounters classified as positive, with the whales seeming to seek out the dolphins, humpbacks were way more dolphin tolerant than others like the blue, fin, and northern white whales. And let's not just slide past the interspecies communication. That is wild, and who knows what they're saying. They could be plotting the most devious hit on an orca. There's no Rosetta Stone for that. Of course, that's a joke. One, because I don't believe they have their version of a white pointy robe pep rally to plot against an apex predator, but also 2, humpbacks aren't exactly immune to the habits of a pilot whale. According to the Latin American Journal of Aquatic Mammals, pilot whales often rage bait humpbacks with short
Rage bait. The sea rage baiters. Nah, I could see, if they could use Twitter, they'd post like, actually, orcas don't deserve rights to just rage bait. Crazy humpbacks are the Italian mafia. They care about family. Let's hope they don't take that way too literally.
Pilot whales seen antagonizing the humpback variety off Puerto Rico, harassment that the whales were visibly stressed by. One sighting saw a gang of pilots approach a pod of humpback whales, with the humpbacks reacting by trumpeting and tail slapping, basically a cetacean crash out. One theory says the pilot whale is a kleptoparasite, whose meal prep involves harassing a humpback into stress regurgitating its last meal so the pilot can swoop in for the steal. Mind you, humpbacks in Puerto Rico probably haven't eaten since they were in the Arctic, so it's like picking a fight with a Muslim dead in the middle of Ramadan. In the Mona Passage off Puerto Rico, a bunch of pilot whales pulled up.
I didn't know that we had an island, guys. I didn't know that we had an island, guys. Virgin Islands. We have islands even. We have multiple islands. That's where we're gonna live. Anyways.
To harass a humpback pod, until the humpbacks dove underwater and resurfaced a distance away, until the pilots peeped them and went over to choose conflict again. This cycle continued like a game until the humpbacks eventually left the area, and chances are a game is exactly what was happening. Some genuinely believe that pilot whales mess with other whales for fun, not for food, simply love of the game. They're
rage baiters. Absolute rage baiters. Tail slap whale, giving them pilots some sense. Bro, that's gonna reshape your entire body. Like, imagine just like getting tail slapped by such a massive creature. That just rearrange your entire brain. They're rage baiters.
Just being dicks. And humpbacks are the whales that tolerate them, but what they don't accept is anything orca. In 2012, a pod of orcas murked a gray whale calf, but the plot twist was the 14 humpbacks that rushed in to back up the 2 already on scene. And what scientists saw was the humpbacks gatekeeping the killer whales, with one even putting himself next to the past tense calf and wailing out anytime an orca got close. For 6.5 hours, the humpback hood calorie blocked the orcas, even ignoring an enticing swarm of nearby krill to remain to float on business. You see, orcas don't go after humpbacks.
They are literally like, you do not disrespect the dead fucker. Get out of here for 6 hours straight. You are not touching this deceased child.
Often, but when they do, it's usually targeting a calf with its mother, which usually involves separating them and reverse baptizing the baby. The thing is, adult humpbacks are much less fearful of a monochrome mammal and are triggered by the sounds of an orca hunt and will come swimming, especially since any young humpback in the area are likely a relative of their own. So they're on sound with orcas, even if the target ends up being a Pacific placemat, because the lesson every humpback learns is, no orca alive shall prosper. And that's on pod.
Orcas? Not on my watch. That is crazy. That's just Cuba for the No, you were going the Virgin Islands, buddy.
Mind you, not all killer whales are whale killers. Only about 10 to 15% of them are mammal-eating killer whales, meaning humpbacks might just be profiling. They see color. 2 in particular.
That orca is darker than the other one. They are racially profiling them. That's crazy. Your skin color, it's darker than the others. You eat mammals, don't you? Crazy work.
But if humpbacks could see everything killer whales do, they'd probably let them slide a lot more. Humpbacks have more than a zebra to stress about. In 2017 in Mossel Bay, South Africa, scientists watched an injured whale get jumped by 8 great white sharks. It's not often, but great whites will pass.
That's crazy. Also, I didn't know that great whites do the group thing.
Back up the young, sick, or injured, especially during migration. It's rare, but the chances aren't 0. Unless an orca's around. That wasn't a joke earlier. Orcas legitimately give jaws PTSD, and it's scientifically proven that great whites will abandon even favorite hunting grounds for up to a year if they even sense a giant oppression dolphin once. In fact, the number of great white
giant oppression dolphin? That's crazy. False bay shark sightings. Interesting. So they drop. That's crazy.
Whites has flatlined in many places off South Africa, like False Bay, so low that it's legitimately affecting tourism. And one of the biggest non-human reasons might be orcas. Two in particular. Since 2015, port and starboard have been raining hell on the whites, with many late great shark carcasses washing ashore with missing livers, including a 16
Missing livers. I guess shark liver might be pretty good. In this case, missing livers, very interesting.
foot female named Khaleesi. These two orcas in arms have terrorized sharks of any species. In 2023, the duo life-deprived nearly 27 gill sharks in one day. And starboard might be the biggest menace. Fun fact, starboard is the first orca ever recorded murking a great white shark by himself after eviscerating one in less than 2 minutes completely solo. Port and starboard are named after how they tend to split the sharks they kill, left and right. That's not true, it's based on their fins. But for about a decade, these two have been violating sharks without remorse, recourse as a final course to force soul divorce, not to beat a dead horse. But killer whales ironically do humpbacks a solid, as the South African rest stop of their migration now has way less sharks. But we've known that sharks tend to get their cookies.
These two on a mission in one day? Yeah. They really don't like sharks. They're cool. They really don't like sharks. For some odd reason. They really don't like the sharks. Like, that's crazy. Actively going out of your way.
Taken by orcas. But great whites can also get sent packing by their own prey. It's well known that a sea lion to a shark is basically a chew toy, with one fur seal having no chance against a 16-foot, 2,000+ pound bioweapon. But this movie has an alternate ending, with gangs of fur seals mobbing hunting sharks. Imagine.
That's funny. That's funny. These are literally just gang wars.
Imagine getting chased out of a drive-thru by a horde of homicidal hot dogs. That's this shark's reality.
Homicidal hot dogs. That is a crazy name.
It's the same mob mentality humpbacks use on orcas, and fur seals will press a great white into retreating back to sea. This weaponized friendship has been clocked all the way back to 2005, with a group of adult male Australian fur seals jumping a great white shark that wandered too close to the colony's pups. But orcas might have just lit a fuse under the fur seals. The decline of great whites in places like False Bay may have honestly boosted the confidence of the seals. Not only do they now act way bolder, studies show that the stress hormone levels of fur
He's just vibing. Homie's just vibing. Look at that vibe. He's just vibing. Look at this man. Just chill. He's just a chill guy. And that's another one just chilling. That's a chill dude.
Fur seals in False Bay went down as the shark numbers did. Orcas might take the seal out to sea and leave it with an L, but they might have also emboldened the fur seals against their biggest op. And few realize how horrific a family of fur seals open carrying confidence can be. Although they likely did need much, because apparently seals can't get along with each other. In many places, elephant and fur seals cross paths, and they do not get along.
They throw hands, so it's a seal war. They're sealing each other out of the bays. Crazy.
They're both pinnipeds, but technically fur seals aren't true seals. They're actually closer to sea lions. Elephant seals see all that and choose to be the world's biggest bigots about it, since some have a bad habit of using baby fur seals as chew toys.
Oh, and racist. Okay. Okay.
Buffel is a 14-foot migrant that annually shows up on Cape Town beaches, where he has a yearly tradition of using young false seals as stress balls for his mouth.
Stress balls? No. Hi, Jacob. How you doing? Hope you're doing good. No. Ugh. Yikes.
One elephant seal was caught grabbing a pup, making a disturbingly literal baby shower before swallowing it whole. Clearly, fur seals have way more to worry about than just sharks, but sharks might not have a bigger enemy than dolphins. Dolphins don't exactly bully sharks. A study done in Shark Bay, Australia found that 74% of bottlenose dolphins were found with at least one scar from a shark attack, and more than a third of those in Sarasota Bay have had a chunk or two taken out of them. So the catch is, while dolphins are a small part of a shark's diet, almost every dolphin will have at least one bad memory of a shark. The dolphin default is actually to avoid sharks, so not exactly like pilot whales to orcas, but they will gang up on them when they have the advantage. Usually it's just for intimidation, but sometimes it involves dolphins ramming sharks in the gills so they choke on their own blood. So basically, sharks prey on dolphins and leave dolphins preying, with dolphins usually social distancing from them. But dolphins will also mob sharks, and in a lot of studies, dolphins were the ones initiating harassment, like in the form of using a baby shark as a volleyball. But it also helps that they have an alliance.
Baby shark as a volleyball. Sure. Yeah, I'm coming more to the conclusion why you've stopped exploring the oceans, because what we're seeing here is absolutely diabolical and on so many levels.
With another member of the cetacean persuasion, one that sends sharks swimming. Or at least it would if it wasn't a false killer whale. That is called a false killer whale, which sucks because it's way more than an
What is that? Ugh. What are you?
imitation orca. Not to be confused with the pilot whale, because where the pilot whale looks like a black rough draft beluga, the not an orca looks like a free willy paralysis demon. On the surface, that is Satan's favorite cetacean creation.
Yeah. Where is it? Australia? I have a feeling.
Slender whale body built. They have no business looking like the black air force of orcas, and those eyes.
But what makes them the false killer whale, though?
Good God, those eyes. Those are the eyes of an ocean chain chomp that shouldn't be trusted. And that's why you don't judge a whale by its mugshot. False killer whales will often form relationships with other dolphins, especially bottlenoses. These bonds can last years and cover hundreds of ocean miles, especially in New Zealand, where falsies will actively seek out dolphins, not just to hunt together.
They look ugly, kinda a reaction video for you. Problem is that I like to avoid everything that has anime in it because I might get castrated.
But to play too, and scientists swear that individuals can recognize each other even after years of separation. In fact, false killer whales and dolphins will often merge pods to form a giant superpod up to 1,000 strong.
1,000? Holy! That's a lot of whales and dolphins and weird guys. God damn, bro.
It goes deeper, with stories of falsies responding to the distress calls of other species, and even aiding other dolphins during childbirth. As close as you think pseudo-orcas and bottlenoses are, they're closer. How close? Well, when a male falsie and a female bottleface get close enough, the outcome is called a wolfin. It's also not just dolphins.
Oh. Mixing. Oh. A wolfin?
Anyone who dives enough will confirm that false killer whales are one of the friendliest things you can run into in the ocean, and there's even stories of them offering fish to strangers. But of course, the world of whale politics is messy, and falsies don't have goodwill with everyone. They're also liable to get T-boned by an orca.
Classic.
Who sometimes show them what a real killer looks like.
Send into orbit.
And if you think that'd make them a friend to humpback whales, falsies have also been known to harass humpback whales, with one case in Hawaii where a group murked one. But there's another animal they find conflict with, and you'd probably never guess it. Because respectfully, as the biggest predator on the planet, sperm whales have no business getting bullied by anyone. Yet you can find reports of false killer whales running up on sperm whales the same way pilots do to orcas. Even back in the 90s, scientists somehow witnessed a group of sperm whales in the Galapagos get
Everything in the ocean is just summarized by a simple word. Harassment. Everything is just harassment. The entire video is just, wolfin. I think whale and dolphin. It's a combination of whale and dolphin. That's why. This is just, the entire video can be summarized in one simple word. Harassment.
ambushed by a gang of 25 falsies, joined by, interestingly, 15 bottlenose dolphins. I told you they were tight. But it was likely a bluff that didn't accomplish any real damage, which isn't always the case. There is one animal with the audacity to hunt modern-day Leviathan, but at this point it should be no surprise. Orcas are ocean Stan Lee. They pop up everywhere. They usually avoid each other, but a party of plus-size predators working as a wolf pack will target the young, sick, or isolated. But orcas predictably can get bold about it. Back in 1997, 35 killer whales attacked a pod of 9 sperm whales.
Don't forget to stay hydrated. No more, I hate water now. 9! A group of orcas attacking 9 sperm whales. That's a bold move.
Resulting in a 4-hour onslaught that left every sperm whale injured and 1 dead. 20 years later, a pod of 8 killer whales ran up on a group of 100 sperm whales off Sri
Lanka. What are these numbers? What do you mean they're just 8 dudes against 100 dudes? What do you mean? How do you do? There's no way these 8 orcas survived undamaged. What the actual fuck?
Lanka, that's not a typo. Nobody died, but the audacity was nearly fatal. Especially since sperm whales, for whatever reason, don't really fight back. Their main defense is to get into a formation called a rosette, with the weak put in the middle. There's that, and serving a poop slushy at orcas, since real life Mobies will also use a cloud of diarrhea as offensive self-defense.
Imagine if your ultimate defensive ability is shitting yourself. That is crazy. Nah, bro.
This bowel bath bomb is sometimes enough to save their lives, but it also means orcas have the ocean's biggest predators soiling themselves by the metric ton. But it seems there's one predator orcas won't hunt, and it's the most successful and most destructive one of it's us. You know it's us. Outside of a glorified fishbowl, orcas have never been known to kill a human, or at least never been caught doing it. In fact, not too long ago, there was a time where humans hunted alongside orcas, with the two working together in New South Wales, Australia. Basically, the orcas would herd the whales to shore and then alert the whalers with a tail slap, and the law of tongue meant the orcas were entitled to the lips and tongue of anything they helped you kill. Even today, a wild orca is less likely to feed on you than just feed you. For as long as we've known them, humans have been on the
Yeah. I mean shit and throw it at your enemy face. Monkey mode, essentially. Water monkey.
orca whitelist, and that might just be changing. You see, orcas are intelligent enough to have different cultures and trends. Like one orca wore a salmon as a hat and within a week had the whole pod doing it. And a recent orca trend involves sinking yachts. It started in 20.
Sinking? What do you mean sinking? They're cuties. Yeah, they're never mind, I guess.
2020, with a pod ramming and eventually downing a 50-foot yacht off Gibraltar. Since then, there have been over 700, again not a typo, I checked, of these attacks, and most of the real damage
700? That is crazy. Harassment. I dare say it, harassment.
was to the ship's rudders. Mind you, some of these attacks lasted over 2 hours, so it's really looking like humpback levels of hating. Also, while researching, I realized there's more than one case of killer whales failing a hunt, only to then target the boat of the researchers watching it happen out of spite. So what are the orcas cooking? I have my theories. One is that orcas are treating hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of vessels as toys, and all it would take is one orca messing with a boat for fun and telling his homies for a new trend to hit humanity. Or it could be revenge. All that would take is one orca having a bad experience with a boat for the whole family to slide, fueled by generational rage. Especially if it happened to a grandmother, cause you know the moment she brought it to the pod, it'd be up for everyone. In fact, chances are, they teach this same behavior to their young. There's a lot we still don't know about the ocean, and all the nonsense that happens in it. But one thing I'll say every time I speak on anything dolphin is that animals aren't good. Animals aren't evil. They're just animals. Animals just trying to make it to the next day any way they can. It's not orca's fault, they're just that much better at it. Simply a skill issue.
Bro thought he could jump. Well, the other homie can jump too. Just out of orbit. Once again, orca doing scoreboards. They are literally out here. They're plotting. 100% they're plotting.
For everyone else. I'ma keep saying it as long as there's people on Twitter saying I want them dead. So probably forever. But until then, drink water, hug your mother. If you see an orca, apologize. Doesn't matter what for, just do it. Support the whales, call your father, and I'ma see y'all in the next one.
Stay still. Just chill. That's cool. That's a lifetime experience for you. Woo!
That was oddly concerning. That was oddly concerning. That was very concerning. Anyways, so basically, orcas are menaces, and they like harassment. Generally, everything that looks like an orca, whale, dolphin, whatever it is, they're the same. Harassment immediately. They are that is crazy. Gang wars in the sea. The waters are constantly at war, guys. Anyways, like, comment, and subscribe. And don't get humped by a dolphin, I guess.